Hi everyone, this is Sue. I'm from Susan Lacey Health and Wellbeing Through Art. Bit of a mouthful, I know, but I just wanted to be clear about what I was about when I made that name. And what I am about is the process of doing craft and art that is good for well-being. It's relaxing. It gives you a sense of meaning. It gives you something to think about, to rest your mind from other worries. I've just found it really personally fantastic. So that's why I made that rather clunky name. But anyway, what I was going to show you here today, I do all of my quilt blocks as a sort of quilt as you go thing so that I can hold them in my hand, take them places, do them individually and see. Then I bind I do them onto a piece of flannel and then I put a backing on them and I wind this backing through to the front to finish the edge off. And then that edge can be very easily connected to other blocks to make a quilt of any size that you want. So what I'm just showing you here today is I just thought I needed some quilting along here, and I thought rather than doing standard straight quilting, this reminds me a little bit of a fly stitch, and it also reflects this applique motif that I've put on here. So I thought I'm going to do a fly stitch along here. So what I'm doing is I will show you how to do that. So I'm just going to pull that through there. Okay, so for this, fly stitch looks a little bit like a like a Y. So I'm going to come up at the top of one part of the Y and here. And then we need to get a loop. We need it to be like a loop that comes across there. So in order to do that, I'm going to go in across from that and come up at where the bottom of the skippy bit, the Y will be, and then make sure that I catch that thread down. So I'll just pull that up through there and catch that down. And then I take that anchoring stitch. Now, it can be little like that, but because I'm trying to reflect this shape that's in the fabric already, I'm going to do a bigger one. And so, and there I've got a knot. Now, you see how it's deconstructed there. It's because it's gone tight there, because the tension is part of what you need to do. So I'm going to loosen that right off again, and pull it through until I've got the shape that I want. Now, the next spot that I would need to start is up over here. But that's because this is going to show on the back as well, that's too big a stitch to take all the way from there up to there. So what I'm going to do is just go across to this little blip that's in between these wires and take a little stitch on top of it, because that just reflects the pattern as well. So there's that little stitch, and now I'm closer to where I need to start, which is up here. So I will do that. Come up there. Imagine I'm going to do a U shape. So I go into the top of the U shape and then come up down the bottom and catch this around to make the U. I must be very text-based mind, I think, that I turn it all into letters. There we go. Take the bottom of the Y. There we go. So I'm going to keep going across here so you can really get the idea, and also you can relax into doing a bit of practice sewing yourself. So up again here. So I just hooked that around my thumb because that was a bit easier to sort of, until I get the needle there to put it under. I made that little arm a little bit short, but that doesn't matter. These things don't have to be perfect. I'll just come across, do that other little travelling stitch to get up to where I want to, and do a in again, come up, across, and down, and back to my travelling stitch. So this block is a raw edge applique block, and you can see that sitting there. It's a picture of a, well, it's not really a picture of anything, but it's inspired by when I was lying on the bed. I looked out and I could only see a little bit of the window and a little bit of my tree that is a weeping cherry, but out of the middle of the weeping cherry, because they must be grafts or something, a normal non-weeping cherry has grown in a great big tall stalk, and that little stalk framed by the window was what I could see. And I thought, that might make quite a nice applique pattern, because I was thinking of applique patterns. I needed to do something for one of the classes, one of the in-person classes, because they're going to learn applique. But I think that one will be a little bit too complicated. I probably won't do that. But I was just inspired to give it a go. And when I think of an idea, I find it's good to just do it, because other times I might be sort of sitting there thinking, I don't know what to do, I don't know what should I do. So if I see a nice image, I just go for it. And then sometimes I'll find that I have images like that and I think, oh, that worked well, I really like it. And I can continue to use that in my work, especially if I'm making artworks and things. So I do quite a lot of little red dresses, because I did a work that was made up of little red dresses. And so sometimes that image of the little red dress is what I'll use to demonstrate applique, or to include it in other works as well. So there's a bit of continuity sometimes between my different quilts that I do. Right, I'm going to run out of thread here in a minute. Probably I shouldn't try and get this last one done, but I'm going to. So how I finish off, so you can see how it's on the back. It's not too bad. It gives a little pattern there that it looks all right for quilting. Obviously, where I started then, I've just put my knotty, or my 2 back stitches with the buried thread a little bit further away than what I would have intended. But anyway, I don't think it matters too much. So I come through and I just do what I think of call as buried the tail, where I do a couple of little tiny back stitches on top of each other, trying not to let the needle unthread, and then go in close to that back stitch and run it through the middle, come up and pull that through. Okay, so that's that. Now, I probably might leave it at that, because it'll just be more of the same otherwise. But so there you can see, there's the area that's not done, and you can see the little Y's. They're actually not very noticeable, but I think they're but they will alter the texture of the surface, like quilting, because a lot of what quilting does is alter the texture of the surface, so that instead of having baggy sort of material, loose material, it binds it down, so you get these little textural bumps and things over there. That's, to me, it's one of the things that makes quilts really wonderful. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again next time.